The sky turned black, not with storm clouds, but with ships, thousands of them, sleek and jagged like metal sharks, slicing through Earth's atmosphere. The alien armada had come. From the command deck of the Vengeance, Emperor Klixar bared his fangs. His clawed hand tightened on his throne, its surface etched with the skulls of conquered worlds. Below, Earth glittered, a blue-green jewel smeared with the smoke of its own tiny wars. Pathetic. Begin landing sequences, Klixar growled. His voice crackled through the fleet's comms. Burn their cities, take their resources, kill any who resist. Across the armada, weapons hummed to life. Lasers charged, bombs armed. But before the first strike could fire, a human voice crackled through every alien ship, broken, loud, repeating. We warned you. We warned you. We warned you. Klixar laughed, a deep gurgling sound. They think words scare us? He stood, his towering form casting a shadow over the bridge. Show them what fear truly is. The attack began. Beams of white-hot energy lanced downward and vanished. Not deflected, not dodged, gone, as if swallowed by the air itself. The aliens froze. Sensors blinked red. Alarms wailed. What trickery is this? Klixar roared. His aide, a gaunt creature with bulbous eyes, trembled. Energy readings, dropping off the charts. Something's blocking us. Then the sky split. A jagged tear ripped open above Earth, glowing gold. Light poured out, not blinding, but heavy, like sunlight soaked in iron. Through the rift, shapes emerged, massive, silent, and ancient. Star destroyers, dozens of them. Their hulls were scarred with battle dents, but their weapons gleamed like new teeth. One bore a phoenix emblem, another, a wolf's snarling face. The third, a child's drawing of a smiling sun. Klixar's heart lurched. Impossible, our scouts saw nothing. They hid in magnetic fields, the aide hissed, panic rising. They were waiting. A human comms channel burst alive. A woman's voice, calm as a summer breeze. Emperor Klixar, we've watched your wars for centuries. You think you're here to conquer? No, you're here to learn. The destroyers moved, not toward Earth, but toward the armada, gliding like predators circling prey. The aliens scrambled, shields raised, weapons fired. Nothing touched them. They're ghosts, a pilot screamed. No, Klixar muttered. They're gods. The destroyers stopped. The woman spoke again. Surrender now, or we'll erase you from history. Back on Earth, humanity held its breath. In a bunker beneath the Himalayas, Commander Elena Reyes watched the feed. Her fingers drummed on the console. Beside her, a teenager named Raj clutched a lucky robot figurine. They're really talking. To aliens, he whispered. They're listening, Elena said. Finally. Above, the Star Destroyers waited. Klixar paced his bridge, his tail lashing. Memories flashed, his homeworld's dying suns, his people's hollow victories, the endless hunger for more. His empire had devoured galaxies, but Earth had nothing. Or so he'd thought. Run analysis, he snapped. The aide's claws flew over holographic screens. Their tech, it's not advanced, it's adapted. They've blended organic matter with machine. Their ships aren't weapons. They're living things. Like us. Klixar breathed. Worse, they understand each other. Outside, the destroyers inched closer. Their hulls rippled, as if breathing. A low hum resonated through space, a sound that vibrated in the aliens' bones. Some dropped to their knees, clutching their heads. What is this? Klixar snarled. A signal, the aide whimpered. It's rewriting our systems, our minds. The destroyers fired, not at the armada, but into the void. A single beam struck nothing and everything. Space twisted, gravity folded. 3 alien cruisers imploded, sucked into a vortex of light. Klixar staggered. They could have killed us all. They're proving a point, the aide said. They're not here to fight. They're here to judge. In the Himalayas, Elena turned to Raj. Time to play our next card. He blinked. You're not really negotiating, are you? Oh, we're negotiating, she said. But not with weapons, with truth. She pressed a button. Across Earth, every screen flickered. The aliens' own broadcasts filled the air, footage of their conquests. Forests burned, children enslaved, oceans poisoned. The woman's voice returned. You think strength is survival. We believed that once too. Then we almost killed ourselves, proving it. Flashbacks, Hiroshima, Chernobyl. Trenches choked with mud and blood. Then another shift. Scientists shaking hands, divers planting coral, a Syrian girl teaching math in a refugee camp. We chose to stop being monsters, the voice said. You didn't, Klixar roared. Enough. But his crew was already breaking. Officers sobbed. Pilots clawed at their faces. The destroyer's signal wasn't just in their machines, it was in their hearts, forcing them to see themselves as they were. Not warriors, but addicts, feeding on war until nothing remained. Human, Klixar rasped. Speak to me. Elena smiled. He's ready to listen. She opened the channel. Commander Elena Reyes. Welcome to the party, Your Highness. Klixar's image filled her screen, a monster with eyes like cracked amber. Why show us your failures? Why not attack? Because you're not here to conquer, Elena said. You're here because your sons are dying. Your DNA's soaked in radiation. You're not monsters. You're desperate. Klixar's claws dug into his throne. How dare you pity us? How dare we not? Elena gestured to Earth. We've been where you are. We chose to ask for help instead of taking it. Join us. Build something better. Silence. Then the Emperor's voice, trembling. My people, they will never kneel. They don't have to, Elena said. Just open your eyes. When Klixar ordered the surrender, his aide stared at him. Why? Because, the Emperor whispered. We were wrong. As the Armada retreated, the Star Destroyers vanished into secret orbits. Elena returned to her farm in Kansas, her daughter hugging her. Did you save the world? Not alone, Elena said, watching the healed sky. Never alone. Years later, when humans and aliens rebuilt Klixar's dying worlds together, they called it the Phoenix Accords. But Elena always smiled, remembering the Emperor's final words. You didn't terrify us. You reminded us. The destroyers hadn't won the war. The truth had. The surrender sent shockwaves through the galaxy. News of the alien Emperor's retreat spread faster than light, carried by whispers and warbled transmissions. To the conquered world still smoldering under Klixar's rule, it was a miracle. To his generals, it was treason. On the Vengeance, dissent brewed like poison. Officers muttered in corners, their scales bristling with rage. He's weak, growled Commander Vrak, Klixar's most loyal warlord. A coward, seduced by human lies. His claws scraped the metal floor as he paced. We strike now. We reclaim our honor. But Klixar stood firm. He'd seen the truth, the raw scars of Earth's history, the choice humanity made to stop devouring itself. It haunted him. For the first time in his reign, he doubted. Back on Earth, the victory was bittersweet. In the Himalayan bunker, Elena Reyes watched the aliens retreat, her hands trembling. Raj, the teenager, stared at her. They're really gone? Not gone, Elena said. Just paused. She turned to her team. Start the debrief. We need to prepare for what comes next. What does come next? Raj asked. Elena smiled, though her eyes were tired. Now the hard part begins, making sure they stay gone. The Phoenix Accords were born in a dusty conference room in Geneva. Humans and aliens sat at the same table, literally and metaphorically. Klixar arrived in a sleek shuttle shaped like a coiled serpent, flanked by guards who eyed the humans like prey. Elena greeted him with a handshake. He hesitated, then gripped her arm in the warrior's clasp of his species. "We're here to rebuild," she said. Klixar's voice was, "Karyadagi, my people won't kneel, but we'll listen." The talks were chaos. Translators stumbled, accusations flew. Humans demanded reparations for the damage caused by the failed invasion. Klixar's aides argued their empire was dying, that survival justified their conquests. Tempers flared. At one point, Vrak slammed his fist on the table, snarling, "You think your kindness will save us? Our sons burn out, our children are born sick. What do you offer but empty words?" Elena stood, calm, unshaken. "We offer partnership." She activated a hologram, a map of the galaxy. Red dots marked dying stars. "Your scientists aren't the only ones tracking this. We've spent decades solving problems like yours. Fusion energy, terraforming, medicine. But we can't do it alone. None of us can." Klixar studied the map. His claws traced a red dot, their homeworld system. "You'd share this knowledge?" "We already have," Elena said. "The Star Destroyers? They're not weapons. They're libraries. Living ships built to heal dying planets. We've used them to revive deserts, replant forests, even stabilize collapsing ecosystems." Vrak spat. "Sentimental nonsense." "No," Elena said. "Strategy. You want to save your species? Stop taking, start building." The breakthrough came not in Geneva but on a battlefield. A rogue faction of Klixar's fleet, diehards who refused surrender, ambushed a human colony on Mars. They raised a greenhouse city, killing hundreds. Elena arrived with a single star, Destroyer, its hull glowing with the Phoenix emblem. Klixar followed, furious. "This was not my order." The two leaders faced the rebels together. Elena's voice boomed through the Martian sky. "You want war? Fine. But know this, we fight side by side now." The battle was swift. The Star Destroyer's energy beams disarmed the rebels' ships without destroying them. Klixar's warriors boarded the enemy vessels, capturing the traitors alive. When it ended, Elena stood beside Klixar, her hand resting on his arm. "See? We don't kill our own, even when they deserve it." He nodded, his amber eyes unreadable. "Perhaps there's hope for us after all." Trust grew slowly. On Earth, alien refugees arrived, families fleeing dying worlds. Some humans welcomed them, others protested. "They almost destroyed us," one activist shouted at a rally. "Why should we help them?" Elena addressed the crowd via hologram. "Because we've been where they are, scared, angry, ready to blame anyone but ourselves. But hatred doesn't fix broken stars. Compassion does." In schools, alien children learned human history. One day a young girl asked her teacher, "Why did humans hurt each other so much?" The teacher, a former soldier named Raj, now a history professor, smiled. "Because we're flawed. But we learned. That's what matters." Klixar's hardest trial came on his homeworld. The planet's twin suns were dimming, their radiation poisoning the air. His people gathered in the capital, their voices a storm of fear. "You've betrayed us," they roared. "You've made us beggars." Klixar climbed the ancient throne platform, his voice echoing through the city. "No, I've made us survivors." He unveiled Earth's technology, fusion reactors to stabilize their suns, gene therapy to cure their radiation sickness. "This is not charity, it's a trade. We offer our knowledge of spacefaring tech. They give us the tools to heal." A elder challenged him. "And what do we give in return?" Klixar's answer was simple. Peace. Years passed. The Phoenix Accords expanded. New colonies bloomed on barren moons. Star Destroyers became symbols of hope, their crews a mix of human and alien engineers. Elena often visited Klixar's rebuilt homeworld, where forests grew in the ashes of war. One evening, they walked a cliffside path, the twin suns setting behind them. Klixar broke the silence. "You once asked us to remember the truth. What was it?" Elena smiled. "That survival isn't enough. We have to live with purpose. Together. He nodded. You gave us more than technology. You gave us a future. Above, the stars shone brighter than ever. The galaxy celebrated the Phoenix Accords, but not everyone embraced peace. In the dark corners of space, remnants of Klixar's empire regrouped. A faction called the Crimson Talon, warriors who saw surrender as betrayal, stole a star destroyer, prototype and fled to the Dead Zone, a lawless region of collapsed stars and forgotten wars. Their leader, a fanatical general named Xeric, vowed to reclaim the Empire's lost glory. On Earth, Elena Reyes stood at her farm, watching her daughter chase fireflies. The comms on her belt buzzed. It was Raj, now a diplomat. Elena, we've got a problem. His voice crackled. Xerac's broadcasting a declaration. He's targeting the colony on Europa. Europa was a fragile human settlement, a greenhouse city built beneath the ice of Jupiter's moon. It was home to scientists, farmers, and families. If Xerac attacked, thousands would die. Elena flew to Geneva in hours. Klixar was already there, his face etched with shame. This is my fault, he growled. I should have crushed the Talon. When they rebelled, you chose mercy, Elena said. Let's make sure it wasn't a mistake. The mission to stop Xerac was risky. The Dead Zone was a graveyard of derelict ships and radiation storms. A single star destroyer, crewed by humans and aliens, would brave it. The Phoenix II. Elena led the team. Klixar insisted on joining. If my people see me fight Xerac, they'll know this war ends here. The journey was brutal. Radiation storms scrambled sensors. Gravitational tides threatened to tear the ship apart. Inside the Phoenix II, tensions flared. A human engineer snapped at an alien medic. A Talon defector whispered of Xerac's new weapon, a device that could collapse stars into artificial black holes. He'll use it on Europa, the defector warned. He wants to erase your hope. With science. Elena's hands tightened on the console. We stop him, no matter what. Xerac waited in the ruins of an ancient battle station. His stolen destroyer, the Viper's Sting, loomed like a predator. When the Phoenix II arrived, he taunted them over comms. Come to die with your pet emperor? Klixar answered. You were my sword once, Xerac. Now you're a rabid dog. Surrender. Xerac laughed. Your weakness sickens. Me, the Viper's Sting fired. A beam of pure darkness lanced toward the Phoenix II. Elena yanked the controls. The blast missed, but the shockwave sent them spiraling into a debris field. Inside, chaos. Alarms screamed. Fires raged. Raj, manning weapons, shouted, We can't. Take another hit. Elena steadied the ship. Klixar, get to the engine room. Stabilize the core. Raj, prep the drones. We're going in. Klixar hesitated. Going where? To the Viper's Sting, Elena said. We end this face to face. Boarding the Viper's Sting was suicide. Talon warriors ambushed, them in the corridors, claws and plasma blades flashing. Elena fought beside Klixar, their backs to the wall. A warrior lunged at her. Klixar snapped its neck with a roar. You fight like a child, he snarled, blood dripping from his claws. They reached the bridge. Xerac stood at the helm, his body wrapped in armor that glowed with stolen power. You think you've won? He activated the weapon. Outside, a dying star trembled, its light bending inward. Elena lunged, but Xerac slammed her into a console. Sparks flew. Klixar tackled him and the two aliens clashed, claws, teeth, and fury. Xerac hissed, You shame our kind. Klixar growled, No, you do. He pinned Xerac to the floor. Elena, dazed, stumbled to the weapon controls. Raj's voice crackled over comms. Elena, the star's destabilizing. You've got minutes. She worked the alien interface, fingers flying. Xerac laughed. You don't even understand the tech. Elena grinned. I've got better engineers. Raj's team rerouted the weapon's energy, diffusing the collapse. The star stabilized. Xerac was captured. Back on Earth, his trial was broadcast galaxy-wide. Elena addressed the court. This war wasn't about survival. It was about choice. Xerac chose destruction. We choose to rebuild. Klixar sentenced him to exile, not to punish, but to teach. Let him wander the stars, the Emperor said. Let him see what we've built. Xerac spat at his feet. You'll fail. No, Elena said. We'll fail together. That's the point. Peace wasn't instant. Old wounds lingered. On Mars, a human mob attacked alien refugees. Elena arrived with Klixar to calm tensions. We've all been hurt, she told the crowd. But fear isn't a home. Hope is. A child asked Xerac's daughter, now a refugee, "Why are you here?" She looked up, her eyes bright. "My dad made mistakes, but I'm here to fix them." The mother of a Mars colonist knelt. Then let's start. Years passed. The Phoenix Accords expanded. Star destroyers became symbols of unity, healing dying worlds. Elena often visited Klixar's homeworld, where forests grew in the ashes of war. One evening they walked a cliffside path, the twin suns setting behind them. Klixar broke the silence. "You once asked us to remember the truth. What was it?" Elena smiled. "That survival isn't enough. We have to live with purpose, together." He nodded. "You gave us more than technology. You gave us a future." Above, the stars shone brighter than ever. The galaxy buzzed with whispers of a new threat. Not warships or weapons, but silence. Entire colonies had gone dark, their comms severed. Planets once teeming with life now floated as eerie, lifeless husks. The Phoenix Accords scrambled to, investigate. Elena Reyes stood in the Himalayan bunker, staring at the data. "This isn't natural," she muttered. "Something's wiping them out." Klixar arrived via hologram, his amber eyes grim. "My scouts report the same. No signs of violence, just emptiness." Raj, now a lead scientist, tapped his tablet. Scans show a pattern. All affected worlds orbit stars nearing collapse. But these stars aren't dying naturally, they're being drained. Drained? Elena frowned. "A force we don't understand," Raj said. "Like something siphoning their energy." The source was found in the rift, a forbidden region of space where stars vanished into a void. The Phoenix II led a coalition fleet there, humans and aliens side by side. The closer they got, the darker the sky became. Sensors failed. Engines stuttered. Then the rift spoke. A voice ancient and cold echoed through every ship. "You trespass where gods feed." The fleet froze. Elena stepped to the comms. "Who are you?" "We are the harvesters. We survive as you do, by taking." Klixar growled. "You kill entire worlds. Your kind once did the same. You know the hunger." Elena's stomach twisted. The harvesters were right. Humanity's history was stained with wars and greed. But she straightened her shoulders. "We chose to change. You can too." The rift pulsed, amused. "Change? You are weak. We will take your stars, your ships, your lives." The fleet braced for battle, but the harvesters didn't attack. Instead, the void shifted, swallowing a nearby moon whole. The message was clear. Resist, and the galaxy would unravel. Back on Earth, panic brewed. Protests erupted. "They'll kill us all," screamed one activist. "We should have destroyed the aliens when we had the chance." Elena addressed the world via hologram. "The harvesters aren't aliens, they're a force, a habit, and habits can be broken." She turned to Klixar, who stood beside her. "We've survived extinction before, together." He nodded. "But how do we fight something that feeds on fear?" "We don't," Elena said. "We feed it hope." The plan was madness. Volunteers. From Earth and alien worlds boarded star destroyers, not to fight but to give. They carried seeds, data, and stories, symbols of life. Elena led the Phoenix II toward the rift, her crew silent. Raj gripped his console. If this fails, it won't, Elena said, because we're not giving them a target. We're giving them a choice. As the fleet neared, the harvesters roared. Surrender! Elena opened the comms. Take this instead. The destroyers released their cargo. Pods streaked into the rift, bursting with light. Inside, blueprints for fusion reactors, music files, paintings, and videos of children laughing. A message scrolled across every screen. There's more than enough if we share. For a moment, nothing happened. Then the rift shuddered. Inside the void, the harvesters recoiled. The gifts they'd received were foreign, useless even, but they carried something the harvesters hadn't felt in eons. Connection. Memories flickered. A time before hunger. Before isolation. Why? The rift whispered, Elena's voice softened. Because we know what it's like to be trapped by our past. But we're more than our worst choices. The silence stretched. Then slowly the void began to heal. Stars reignited. Planets warmed. The rift shrank. Its hunger eased. A final message echoed. We. Remember, the victory wasn't instant. The harvesters retreated, but their scars ran deep. Elena and Klixar worked tirelessly, offering the same deal they'd once offered each other: partnership. Over decades, the harvesters learned to rebuild instead of consume. Their technology, once used to drain stars, was repurposed to stabilize them. On Klixar's homeworld, a harvester's child played with a human girl, their laughter mingling. Raj watched them, smiling. Who'd have thought the end of the world would start with a seed? Elena handed him a packet of sunflower seeds. Every garden begins with one. The Phoenix Accords grew. Former enemies became allies. The Star Destroyers, once symbols of war, now roamed as caretakers, planting forests on barren moons and reviving dead oceans. Klixar visited Elena's farm one evening. They sat on the porch, watching fireflies. He broke the silence. You once said survival isn't enough. What comes next? Elena tossed a seed into the wind. Purpose. Together. Above, the stars glowed brighter than ever. The stars burned brighter now, not because they were stronger, but because the galaxy had learned to care for them. The Phoenix Accords had grown into more than a treaty. It was a family of worlds, bound by the scars of war and the hope of peace. But even in this golden age, shadows lingered. Elena Reyes stood on the observation deck of the Phoenix Dassault, now a mobile embassy orbiting Klixar's homeworld. Her hair was streaked with gray, but her eyes still held the fire of the woman who'd stared down emperors and void-born monsters. Beside her, Raj, older, grayer, but still clutching his lucky robot figurine, sighed. You'd think saving the universe would earn you retirement. Elena smirked. Retirement's boring. Besides, there's still work to do. The work was different now. No wars, no invasions, just the slow, stubborn labor of healing. On Europa, the greenhouse city thrived, its domes glowing like lanterns beneath the ice. On Mars, human and alien children played in the dust, their laughter echoing through terraformed valleys. Even the harvesters, once cosmic leeches, had become stewards of dying stars, their technology repurposed to nurse suns back to life. But not everyone believed in the new order. In the outer colonies, whispers grew of a splinter group, the Iron Covenant, a mix of rogue humans, alien warlords, and harvesters who refused to abandon conquest. They called the Accords foolish, claiming peace was a lie. Strength is survival, they hissed. Always. Elena read their threats in silence. She knew the cycle. Fear breeds rage. Rage breeds war. She'd seen it too many times. But this time, she had a plan. Klixar summoned the leaders of the galaxy to Geneva. The conference hall, once a battleground of distrust, now buzzed with translators, diplomats, and engineers. Elena stood beside him as he addressed the crowd. His voice, once a growl of conquest, now carried the weight of wisdom. We've survived extinction twice, first by fire, then by fear. Now we face a third test, not from outside, but within. He gestured to Elena. She stepped forward holding up a single data chip. The Iron Covenant thinks peace is weakness. They're wrong. Peace is work. Hard, messy, frustrating work. But it's the only thing that lasts. The chip projected holograms. A Talon defector teaching physics on Europa. A former Harvester's warship replanting coral reefs on Earth. A Martian colony where ex-soldiers rebuilt homes for refugees. These aren't victories, Elena said. They're seeds, and seeds need tending. A human senator scoffed. You think stories will stop a war? No, Elena said, but people will. She turned to Klixar. Let's show them. The Phoenix Two led the fleet to the edge of the rift, where the Iron Covenant had entrenched themselves. But instead of weapons, the ships carried gifts. Pods rained down on the Covenant's strongholds. Food, medicine, blueprints for fusion reactors. A message scrolled across every screen. You're not our enemies. You're our lost family. Inside, the Covenant's flagship, Chaos, erupted. It's a trick, screamed their leader, a bitter ex-Talon commander named Vec. They'll crush us when we kneel. But not all listened. Younger soldiers hesitated. A medic opened a pod and gasped. AI creative vaccines for their dying planet. A pilot whispered. My sister's world. She said they're rebuilding it. Vec roared. They'll take your pride, your history. A warrior stepped forward, her voice trembling. Our history is pain. Theirs is hope. Which do we want? Vec lunged. But his own crew restrained him. The Covenant fractured. Some fled. Others surrendered. Klixar and Elena met the defectors on a barren moon. The air was thin, the sky orange with dust. Elena offered a handshake. The lead defector, a scarred alien named Jorak, hesitated. After what we've done, you're here, Klixar said. That's enough to start. Jorak gripped her hand. Behind them, star destroyers descended, their hulls glowing like dawn. Years passed. The galaxy healed. The Phoenix Accords expanded, welcoming even the most broken souls. Elena retired to her farm in Kansas, where she planted sunflowers and wrote memoirs. Klixar ruled until his death, succeeded by his daughter, who wore the child's sketch of the smiling sun on her throne. On a hill overlooking the Himalayan bunker, a statue rose, Elena and Klixar standing back to back, their hands open, not clenched. Below it, an inscription. They didn't terrify us, they reminded us. One evening, Elena's granddaughter found her on the porch watching the stars. Grandma, why did you keep fighting, even when it was hard? Elena smiled, handing her a sunflower seed. Because the hardest battles aren't against enemies. They're against the parts of ourselves that want to give up. And because even the smallest light can push back the darkest night. The girl planted the seed in a pot, watering it gently. Above, the stars burned brighter than ever.